President Biden is coming off with what some see as a not-so-great speech yesterday in Georgia. That's putting it lightly. The speech actually included very familiar gaffes along the way. His repeated claim that he was arrested while fighting for civil rights, despite no record of that ever happening.
Last week, President Harris and I stood in the United States Capitol. Seems like yesterday, the first time I got arrested. Anyway.
Wow. All this is the president and vice president's job approval numbers. They are going down. Less than 1 year in the office. This may explain why Hillary Clinton allies in the Wall Street Journal say she may be a 2024 contender. Their piece reads in part, if Democrats lose control of Congress in 2022, Mrs. Clinton can use the party's loss as a basis to run for president again, enabling her to claim the title of change candidate. Wow. Didn't they used to call her a dynasty candidate? Brian?
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're calling her now, then we could say on the air. But Doug Schoen does know, and Andrew Stein, they do know the Clintons. She does have, there's no doubt about it, there's a vulnerability there with Joe Biden, to be honest. We know he's going to have to run. He's going to be 82 years old. He would not have won had he had to really campaign. He probably would have got the nomination. But here's the key. 2/3 of independents disapprove of Joe Biden. And the question is, would Gavin Newsom step aside? This will have to be someone has to step up besides Dennis Kucinich or someone who's just a farcical candidate. But if a legitimate governor stepped up, now Gavin Newsom clearly has some problems, but he is an experienced politician who people are looking to. But would he step aside and not go against Hillary Clinton, who is probably one of the worst candidates and campaigners ever?
What do you think?
What do I think? No way. I think he runs. I think that he knows he's got a window, and even though that he beat recall, has a little bit of momentum. There's tax, giving illegal immigrants health care and all that stuff is anathema to most Americans, not to Democrats. I think that he's the likely guy, and I don't believe anybody should walk away from Hillary Clinton, who just fails everywhere she goes.
Well, usually Brian and I, we talk a lot about the NFL, but Kennedy and I do too. So it's wild card weekend coming up. Woo. And could you see a wild card now that some of the charges have been dropped against Andrew Cuomo of him jumping in?
I'm so glad you brought up the NFL. Thank you, Harris. Because
of course,
sending Hillary Clinton in to save the Democrat Party is like sending Joe Montana in right now at his age and the condition he's in.
He looks good, though.
And swapping him out for Jimmy Garoppolo.
But he's 70.
Joe Montana is great. He's fantastic. Okay. And his past accomplishments far more impressive than anything Hillary Clinton will ever achieve in her entire life. Having said that, he knew it was time to step aside. I hope the 49ers do very, very well. Sorry, Emily.
No.
And I actually,
no.
I am going to push back on Brian a little bit. I agree with you. Gavin Newsom will never step aside. The guy lives in a monoparty state where he is fluffed eternally in California and told how great he is, even though he's running the state into the ground and there aren't enough U-Hauls for people to move out. But look out for Jared Polis. He is the governor of Colorado, a purple state, and he's been one of the few Democrat governors to say, hey, maybe we need to get over the idea of COVID as an emergency and get back to normal life. And I think that he is politically interesting enough to watch. Hillary, as much as I would love to see her lose again, she's done.
Wow. Bringing forth a new name like Stetson Bennett. Georgia beat Alabama. That was a great game. Both teams did great.
I don't know if he'd be a great president, though.
You know it was like a metaphor. Anyway, in a recent interview, Hillary Clinton appeared to take a shot at progressives and the White House. Here it is.
I think that it is a time for some careful thinking about what wins elections, and not just in deep blue districts. Nothing is going to get done if you don't have a Democratic majority in the House and the Senate. And our majority comes from people who win in much more difficult districts. But at the end of the day, it means nothing if we don't have a Congress that will get things done, and we don't have a White House that we can count on to be sane and sober and stable and productive.
Ooh. Who's she throwing barbs at there? That could hit. Uh-oh, duck Biden and Kamala. I don't know. What was that about? Emily?
Well, what I love about it is that her husband is piling on it, too. Bill Clinton just said she is the most qualified person to run for office. in his lifetime. So both of them are obviously wearing rose-colored glasses. I have to say that these guys are just trying desperately to resurrect anyone who can save the party. But obviously Hillary Clinton is not it. The only thing as abysmally low as Biden and Harris's approval rating are her low favorability rating that dropped even lower after she lost the race for the White House. She bottomed out at 36%, and her favorability or low favorability bottomed up at 61%. That was the unfavorability rate. So as far back as 1998 as well, you guys, she's been calling the fact that everyone dislikes her intensely as a vast right-wing conspiracy. So I think that she should stop blaming others and just self-reflect. And final thought, go Raiders.
Oh, I knew that was coming.
This is killing me.
You knew it was coming.
Oh, I knew that was coming. All right, Cheryl, let's just start there. Who are you rooting for, girl?
Oh, the Cowboys. Come on.
All right,
guys.
I think I knew that.
What are
let's
we
see if
talking
Dak
about
can
here?
do it. Although, you know, Patrick Mahomes. That's why I wear red almost every day now.
Well, Kenny and I are going to have a little chat on Sunday when they play each other. But really quick, I want to throw out one more name here. Eric Adams, the brand new mayor of New York City. There's already talk that he could be a name that could emerge.
Yeah, you got to fix the crime before you put your hat in something else. I mean, he's got to go up against this Manhattan DA who got all that George Soros money.
And the illegal
like
immigrants that he's letting vote. Yeah. That's kind of good.
And saying that foreigners can vote in the election. I mean,
and appointing his brother.
Yeah. Oh, yes, in the commissioner chain. Yeah. I mean, he's got to accomplish some things now. Hillary Clinton, real quickly, your thoughts on her, Cheryl?
Well, I mean, she was a terrible candidate, and I know a lot of Democrats that say that, not just Republicans. She just didn't do well on the campaign trail. It was a likability issue. So I think that most Democrats know, and no offense to Doug Schoen, who was a co-writer on this piece, that, you know, and he brings up good points about the weakness of the Biden-Harris ticket, but at the same time, you know, if you talk to any Democrat, you talk to one of the last hour Harris, they all say, you know, that they're going to run again, that President Biden's going to run again. So, but there's Eric Adams says he's the new face, the new voice of the Democratic Party.
Well, he better get something done before he tries to be the new face of the country.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, do your job. Let's see if that can happen. I don't know. I live in Jersey. It's not really my problem.